Everyone, thank you for joining us on this, I guess, gourmet start of Werewolf Radar. I'm Roger.
I'm Nate Balding.
And today we have for you were stuff. We're doing a deep dive on shapeshifting, Werecats, were hyenas. Where's that list of things I have for shapeshifting? Werewolves, although we're not going to be talking about them. We're going to go deep into the were. Inklings from Splatoon. That's on the list.
All right, check it out.
But before we start, who sponsors us, Nate?
As always, we're sponsored by Monstroco. This month, Monstroco presents Monstroke Eats. Tired of eating the same old cuisine from your own dimension? Why not let Monstroke Eats bring some spice to your life? Tentacular fry stacks? Done. Irradiated dream goo? They've got it. Your own soul turned inside out and put back inside you? It's already happened. Contactless delivery by request. Monstroke Eats. Knock, knock.
You know, I was using HelloFresh, and since they're just bad to their workers, we stopped using them. And I'm thinking about this Monstroco Eats.
Get on HelloFlash.
HelloFlash, a Monstroco Eats production or product.
A subsidiary.
Right. Now, of course, you know, we do 3 episodes a week, and Monstroco doesn't pay us in human currency. So if you can and really like what we do, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Werewolf Radar, where you can get paranormal merch, fun paranormal extras such as grave nuggets early before anyone else, and monthly fiction from me, Nate, maybe art from Jordan every once in a while, crazy extra paranormal stuff. And you get to hang out with us every Sunday as we record and just joke about our days and the paranormals. It's fun. People love it. Now, shall we continue, Nate, on this deep dive of where things?
Yeah, let's get into it. Well, here's a bit of an overview, sort of, about shape-shifting.
Sure.
This is from UFO Insight. Right the way back to the mythology legends of the ancient Greek and Egyptian civilizations, and even the ancient Sumerians before them, shape-shifting abilities and accounts thereof are rife. Many of the Egyptian gods, for example, are depicted with the head of an animal and the ability to change their form. Zeus, perhaps the most famous of the Greek gods, would shapeshift into animals and even assume the form of a woman's lover in order to trick them into having sex.
Dude, he did it so much. He did it as a bull. He did it as a swan.
It says the form of their lover, but I think they mean an animal.
I had a myth and mythology professor in college explain that as, and this is, I feel, extremely like just flat brain, but like a weird way to think about it was that these myths were created to explain a woman's infidelity. And like she would get pregnant and it wouldn't be the man's because he was, let's say, at war in the field, and he's just like, I haven't done the thing that is done. And she would go, well, a bull came by and I slept with the bull. And then of course the man would go, it was Zeus the whole time. I must allow this.
But then the baby's born and it's a minotaur.
Okay, and then it's all like, oh damn, you did sleep with Zeus.
Rather than mere myths and legends from antiquity, though, we might look at the cave of the Trois Frères in the south of France. One of the cave paintings is over 10,000 years old, going back to at least 13,000 BC. This cave painting appears to show a human in the process of shape-shifting. It clearly shows a strange figure with both human and animal aspects and features. Even the position of the creature suggests it is in the process of some kind of metamorphosis. Rather aptly, then, the painting is named the Sorcerer, and would appear to show that belief in such creatures was prevalent even before the intricate fairy tales and stories entered into the human psyche. Indeed, we might argue that the reasons such entities did appear in these early fairy tales in the first place are because our ancestors had witnessed such things. I'll put the picture of the cave painting in the Discord.
Please. And think about joining our Discord too. Follow at the link of most episode descriptions or channel descriptions.
Yes. It isn't just animals these apparent shapeshifters can morph themselves into, though. Some legends even speak of the changing into plants or other physical objects. This is certainly an interesting theory, particularly when we think of the claims from some ufologists that UFOs, for example, are themselves living sentient entities as opposed to nuts and bolts crafts.
I have to think that's a great...
It's a very fun jump to make.
Yes, it is. Also, the thought of a were plant is a fun thought to make, like a were rose. like at the were council, where like you have the were hyenas, the were wolves, the were cats, the mer people, the berserkers, and then the were roses.
It's the were council is like an occult UN where everything is transforming.
I was thinking, like, overall, like they talk about world shape-shifting issues and problems that need to be addressed. I would basically do it as the G20 of shape-shifting.
Okay. I thought that's what they were doing over there.
Oh, that's different. That involves the Dark Lord. But there is shape-shifting involved in that. That's a different type of shape-shifting. We're talking shape-shifting people.
Okay, not just shape-shifting morals.
Yes.
Many shamans and wise men of native tribes around the world claim to have the ability to shapeshift so that they might communicate with entities in the spiritual realm. Many of these, interestingly enough, might equally be described as out-of-body experiences or astral projection. In our contemporary era, claims of reptilian shapeshifters flood social media daily.
Hell yeah, indeed, I watch those videos all the time.
I watched like 20 minutes of them yesterday.
Dude, say what you will about Obama. He hired more lizard shapeshifters in the CIA than any other president. Talk about someone who talked what he preached about diversity, hired more lizard people in his administration than any other administration.
It's true.
I mean, Trump did a lot too, but like Obama got them installed.
A quick search of the term in Google or YouTube, for example, will bring back a plethora of results for one to sift through. What is the apparent obsession then? Do these reptilian shapeshifters really exist? Have they always been here and the crazy conspiracy loons were right all along? Even taking away the obvious hoaxes, is there a subconscious ancestral fear of these apparently menacing and deceitful creatures that remains in our minds from antiquity? Perhaps, though, there is one particular shape-shifting legend that has found a place in the collective human conscious more than any other, the werewolf.
Yes.
Which we're not really going to cover because we've talked about werewolves a lot on this show. But they do
form the basis of all of our understanding about what we are going to talk about.
Yeah. I did want to talk about, because this goes back fairly far as well. I wanted to talk about the Berserkers.
They're at the Werewolf Council, remember?
Yeah, the Berserkers absolutely are there. And for those of you that don't know, so the Berserkers were they were just like the heavy forces on any raiding party. They would wear either bear skin or wolf skin. Occasionally
they were also known as the werebears. I forgot what that is in Old Norse, but that's what it translated to.
Yeah. And they would, mostly they would just take flag arc mushrooms, flip their shit, and go murder a bunch of people. But there are accounts in some of the sagas where they say that they're actually transforming into the creatures that they're supposed to be representing. Like specifically, I remember in was it an Eagles saga? It's one of the Icelandics. His grandfather, Kveldulf, was said to actually be able to transform into a wolf and would just prowl around the woods at night, doing all kinds of crazy shit.
And those sagas typically are considered a fanciful historical record of the Norse kings and their travel to Iceland.
Yes.
So like that's a historical record that's saying, nah, this dude was a werewolf. Or what animal did he transform into? Sorry.
Oh, he was a wolf man,
Yeah,
although there were
yeah.
also bear men.
You know, I think, do you choose what you do, or is it inside of you the whole time? Like I am naturally a werebear.
I think I think it probably involves if you happen to kill a bear and then take its flesh and start wearing it, that's you deciding to become a bear.
Which I guess is like
and in some cases they did.
There's another word for it, but like colloquially in Western society we call them skinwalkers, but there's a better word for like the proper like witch that does it. But there's that. It's kind of like that, where like they take the skin of the thing they transform into.
Yeah. Well, and there was another part of Eagle's saga. The hardest of men with a touch of uncanny about a number of them. They were built and shaped more like trolls than human beings.
Big boys.
So they might have also just been huge and deformed. But there's definitely in Hrolf's saga, they definitely talk about
hit
people.
That silent H.
They definitely talk about people turning into beasts when they went to a battle. They also talked about eating their own shields sometimes.
Dude, I would be fucking scared as shit on the other side. I'd be scared to be behind them as they were eating their shields before war.
Yeah, right?
And I have been so high on mushrooms before that I have just nibbled on inedible things because it's the only thing grounding me to the world that I am supposed to be living in. So I get that.
It makes sense. And there's a sort of adjacent thing, the Wolver legends of the Shetland Islands.
Oh, okay.
These could be some sort of, like shapeshifters that decided to stay shifted.
Liked it better as being a wolf, getting free getting treats for tricks and free belly scritches.
Yeah.
I would too. I would stay a wolf or a dog.
So this is in the Shetland Islands of Scotland. A hairy humanoid beast with the head of a wolf hangs out, called the Wolver. However, unlike other strange wolf-like beasts, wolvers are said only to be harmful to humans when threatened. So they have like actual wolver communities. And they're not like werewolves. They're like bodies of men, head of wolf. According to the legends, perhaps documented
like the Egyptian gods, bodies of men, you just said, and the heads of wolves.
Yeah.
Nice.
As documented by Jesse Saxby in Shetland traditional lore, the wolver was often seen catching and eating fish from a small rock in the deep water. What's more, the strange creature would often leave fish outside the homes of those in need of food.
Oh, so it's like good. So like wolvers are great for the community.
Yeah. What is perhaps interesting here is that there is little evidence to suggest any kind of shapeshifting and more of a permanent appearance and existence. And if we accept the legends to have some grains of truth to them for a moment, its kind gestures with food would suggest empathetic intelligence. I suggest perhaps there's a line from the Berserkers through to these Wolvers.
Okay.
However, There are other accounts of the Wolver. In the book Shapeshifters, Morphing Monsters and Changing Cryptids, Nick Redfern, Red Alert,
Yeah, we've done
writes of
his
an
work here before.
hell yeah, we have. Writes of an encounter documented by Elliot O'Donnell, who had a fascination with accounts of werewolves. The encounter was told to O'Donnell by a local resident of the area, Andrew Warren, who had experienced the Wolver when he was a young boy with his grandfather. According to the account, Warren and his grandfather, who was a hunter and collector of fossils and skeletons, discovered what appeared to be a human skeletal remains one day while out walking. However, what was particularly strange about the remains was that the head appeared to be wolf-like. Suspecting they might have discovered something truly unique, the pair wrapped the remains and carried them back to their home. They were left outside the property, and Warren's grandfather went to work at the local church for the evening. Warren, though, was about to experience one of the strangest, unnerving nights of his life. A short time after his grandfather had left for work, Warren heard a strange scratching sound coming from the kitchen door. He turned his attention in its direction, noticing immediately that there was a silhouette of a wolf's head on a human body peering through the glass of the door. As he continued to watch, the creature became even clearer, making its glowing green eyes and razor-sharp teeth much easier to see for Warren. He ultimately fled the kitchen and then shut the door behind him, choosing to wait until his grandfather returned home. When he finally did, they came to the conclusion that the beastly apparition at the door during the night was likely the spirit of the skeletal remains they discovered, remains that were seemingly a Wolver. They immediately carried the remains back to where they discovered and reburied them, and had no further experiences with the Wolver after that.
Okay, that's cray cray.
And then there's I was gonna maybe talk a little bit about. I think we've talked about the Pooka plenty, but the Pooka is interesting. It's another
Yeah, what is that
creature
one?
of Celtic folklore.
Is that a were
They're just
horse?
no,
Oh,
they're like fun little cutesy looking creatures, but they mostly take the appearance of horses, goats, cats, dogs, and bunnies.
neat.
But they can take human form. But the human form always has weird animal features such as ears and tails.
Whiskers.
Yeah.
Likes to chase balls that
Uh,
are hopping on the street.
Here's one of the Irish stories. It's taken from the middle of an Irish story. They're mischievous. It's, from En Boache Boagas and Pooka, maybe. Describes this method of control of the Pooka as done by a young boy who had been the creature's target once before. The farmer asked the lad what had kept him out so late. The lad told him, "I have spurs," said the farmer. "Put them on tonight, and if he brings you, give him the spurs." And the lad did this. The thing threw him from its back, and the lad got back on early enough. Within a week, the Pooka was before him again after housing the cows. "Come to me," the lad said, "so I can get up on your back." "Have you the sharp things on?" said the animal. "Certainly," said the lad. "I won't go near you then," he said. He apparently, the Pooka came to him as a horse. The kid jumped on. He got bucked a whole bunch. Then he got spurs. And apparently sharp things scare the Pooka.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sharp things scare me. That's something I keep relating to these monsters more than I should. It's all like, yeah, the monster was scared by knives, and I'm all like, yeah, me too.
there's this also could be some kind of like natural. I don't know. There seems to be a lot of very specific shape shifting in the northern European areas. Some Puka are also bloodthirsty vampire-like creatures, and some eat men uh, and hunt them. Anyway, watch out for horses. Uh,
They could be a carnivorous puka.
I did also. There's a cool Chinese legend. That all it's really long, but I'll try and truncate it. It's the legend of the white snake. This is another interesting shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Basically, so there was this kid, Zushian, and he was walking over this bridge one day, and one of the eight immortals, disguised as a Tangyan vendor, just like a
Yeah.
little a tasty fruit treat,
Mm-hmm.
gave him some of these, and the kid ate them, and then the Lu Dongbin, the immortal, started laughing and he said, "Those are actually immortality pills." And after eating them, the kid does not feel hungry for the next 3 days, and he goes back to ask the vendor why. Lu Dongbin carries him to the edge of the bridge where he flips him upside down and causes him to vomit the Tongyan into the lake. In the lake, however, there's a white snake spirit who's been practicing Taoist magical arts. She eats the pills and gains 500 years worth of magic powers. And for that, she feels grateful to Shushian,
Of course.
and their fate becomes intertwined. There's also a tortoise in there who did not get to consume any of the pills and becomes very jealous of the white snake. Eventually the white snake turns into a lady, turns her sister into a lady as well, who was a green snake. And they run into Shushian on the same bridge, and it's raining, and he gives them an umbrella, and they're like, "What a nice boy." So they immediately get married. However, after a while, the angry turtle transforms himself into the image, at least, of a Buddhist monk.
The turtle already has
And
powers?
yeah.
Alright.
The turtle was like a turtle spirit.
Okay. Understand.
Uh, yeah. He turns himself into a monk named Fahai, and he plots to break up their marriage. Anyway, so he convinces Shushian to feed her this Realgar wine, which is apparently an alcoholic drink commonly consumed during the Duan Wu festival, which is like, it's supposed to protect you against snakes, and like send snakes away.
Okay. Kind of
So when
snake
she
repellent.
when yeah. So when the transformed snake drinks it, she of course starts vomiting, turns into a snake, and Sushan dies of shock after seeing that his wife is not human. However,
I
Bai
think I would do
Sushen
that
and
as well. My heart would break.
yeah,
I would question my
Bai
sexuality
Sushen,
because I had a lot of stuff that I would have to accept about myself. And then I would die
it's
of
true.
shock as a human that I thought I knew transformed into a snake.
Well, fortunately, he's carried up to Mount Imai, where where they where there's a whole crazy quest to steal a magic herb that brings him back to life. After coming back to life, the kid's still like, "I still love you. I know that you're actually a snake in lady form. That's fine." Uh, there's a whole bunch of crazy battles. Shushian gets captured by
It's an epic
Fahai.
poet or poem, if you
It's
will.
it's pretty amazing. And then Bai Susan, that's the snake lady, she floods the temple, which kills many innocent people. Uh,
Because and
but
that
she
is like
is
an old timey, like mythic tale solution is you're like, well, have to kill the plebes.
however, she's already pregnant with Sushian's child, um, and fails to save her husband. Uh, Eventually, Shushian manages to escape the temple that he's been held out and
Yeah.
reunite with his wife, and she gives birth to their son. Fahai tracks them down and imprisons the wife in a giant pagoda. And it takes 20 years, but their son eventually returns home in glory to visit his parents after graduating at the top of his school, I guess, top of his class.
Yeah.
Eventually, he doesn't even actually confront the guy, I don't think. Her
Just kind of
sister,
forgets about him, goes on with his own life.
yeah. Her sister confronts Fahai, who flees and hides in the stomach of a crab.
And all
that's
these people
why,
are werewolves, huh? Or were things, huh?
well, more than half of them are Transformers.
Animals in disguise.
Yeah. I just thought that was a really fun one, crazy
Oh yeah.
white worm filled with immortality pills.
I like
Two
how the
snakes,
turtle
one
was
tortoise.
jealous. Yeah. Tortoise was jealous, and separate from the treats that gave magical powers, had his own magical powers to ruin this
Had
wedding.
magical powers. Yep.
Didn't even need the magical treat, just wanted more magical power.
Yeah, he was just pissed.
Greedy tortoise.
I think there's other tellings of it too, where it's like a cautionary thing where Sushian is being tricked. And Fahai's the good guy by saying, hey, you should know your wife is a snake.
I mean, honesty is the foundation of marriages, I've been told in sitcoms and movies. So,
Yeah, get into more Chinese rom-coms.
they're pretty fun altogether. Well, Nate,
I
is that
understand you have some cat facts.
I have more than just cat facts, man. We're gonna go. Thank you for giving us a broad stroke of shapeshifters across the globe. We're now going to dive even farther. We found a nice corner of the pool, the shape-shifting pool that we're in. And this corner is Werecat deep. All right. This deep depth is only for werecats. Werewolves that are cats. Werecats. Okay. Are we ready, Nate?
I believe so. I've got my bowl of Purina ready to go.
Now, werecats are in multiple folklores. You got European folklore. European folklore usually depicts, and this is all from Wikipedia right now. European folklore usually depicts werecats as people who transform into domestic cats. Some European werecats become giant domestic cats or panthers. And they are generally labeled, of course, as witches, even though they may have no magical ability other than self-transformation, which is one hell of an ability. Don't just say, like, there's no other. All you can do is transform. That's quite the ability, I assure you. As a normal human, that's a neat ability. During the witch trials, which in this citation, it says witch?
Like
during the witch trials, all shapeshifters, including werewolves, were considered witches, whether they were male or female.
Well, I mean, that's true of the time. You would have just said witch.
Africa. African legends describe were-lions, were-panthers, were-leopards. In the case of were-leopards, this is often because the creature is really a leopard deity masquerading as a human. I mean, that's kind of what you described. I think a lot of these shape-shifting deities like to masquerade as humans.
Yeah, I
It's
mean
fun for them.
the history seems to point back to some sort of uh, you know, godlike intervention of a human form.
When these gods mate or intervene with humans, offspring can be produced. And these children sometimes grow up to be shapeshifters. Those who don't transform may instead have other powers. And
I
then, of
mean,
course, we're
at
cats,
least they
we're
don't have
lions,
the
blah,
paltry shape shifting.
blah. In Africa, there are folk tales that speak of the Nunda or the Mgwao, a big cat of immense size that stalks villages at night. Many of these tales say that it is more ferocious than a lion and more agile than a leopard. The Nunda are believed by some to be a variation of the Therian Therianthropy that by day is a human, but by night becomes a werecat. No actual evidence of such a creature existing has ever been documented because they don't got the information we have here. However, British administrator named William Hitchens, working in Tanzania, was told by locals that a monstrous cat had been attacking people at night. Huge paw prints were found to be much larger than any big cat, but Hinges dismissed the case, believing it more likely to be a lion with gigantism.
Can lions get gigantism?
Anything can get
Like,
gigantism. Anything can be bigger, Nate. That's
I mean,
what you
is it?
don't understand about this world.
Well, wasn't that the disease that the elephant man had?
Yeah. And he got bigger.
This would be. He did, but I'm just saying this lion seems like they just be kind of sickly and in pain all the time.
Yeah. I mean, that's why he's killing. He's very upset about the pain.
Oh, okay.
He's tired
Fair
though.
enough. The only thing that stops it is the rending of flesh.
In Asia, werecats usually become tigers. In India, the were-tiger is often a dangerous sorcerer portrayed as a menace to livestock, who might at any time turn to man-eating. So, like the moment you run
Yeah,
out of livestock, or the moment the livestock becomes like not to its standing, it will eat you.
I mean, I think that we covered a little bit of the Naga tribe, the tiger men of the Naga tribe a while ago, and that's what they were just common people that could all manage to they like could just assume the form of a tiger through the tiger
The
without
tiger allowed
transforming
it.
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh the tales of Indian tigers, the sorcerers traveled through the rest of India and into Persia through travelers who encountered the royal Bengal tigers of India, then further west. So the moment you saw a tiger, I guess back in the old days, you just assumed people were transforming into
Oh,
this.
magic.
Yeah, just magic. Don't know what the fuck this is. Magic. You tame these, huh? They're just hanging around your cortisones. They must be people in the guise of tigers. Magic. This is a magical land, which, to be fair,
Yeah.
as a European man who just survived their 5th bout of bubonic plague, I would also assume that was magic.
Oh,
And also
100%.
thank
Yeah.
you for letting me into your court. I promise I don't have the plague. Chinese legends often describe were-tigers as the victims of either a hereditary curse or a vindictive ghost. In China, you become a were-tiger through punishment.
I mean, vindictive ghost seems like a bad one. Like, it's so easy to piss off a ghost.
Alternatively, the ghost of people who have been killed by tigers could become a malevolent supernatural being known as a Chang. devoting all their energy to making sure that tigers killed more humans. So you would encourage through, I assume, mental possession a little bit, influence, to tell these tigers to go like kill a human.
Yeah, destroy all humans.
Do it. Just because it's just you as an SNL sketch telling, or a Ben Stiller sketch telling someone to do it. Some of these, listen, that was a reference for everyone's uncle, and everyone's uncle's enjoying it. Ask your uncle. Also, in Japanese folklore, there are creatures called bakeneko, which we've talked about them as well, that are similar to Katsune. Yep. And they are...
They're good luck.
Good luck. Same thing with the Katsune, I think. Or the Katsune are evil. Either way, pet them. Find out. Tell us if they're good or evil. Now, we come to the Americas. Historically, the foremost were-animal in pre-Columbian Mesoamerican cultures were the were-jaguar. That's where you get like jaguar priest, shamans, and the tradition of a were-jaguar by wearing the skins of jaguar to become a jaguar. Among the Aztecs,
not dissimilar from the Berserker style
exactly
of transformation.
The Aztecs had an entire specialized class of warriors who dressed in jaguar skin, similar to the Berserkers, called jaguar warriors or jaguar knights. But now let's jump.
I love Dirty Dancing too, Jaguar Knights.
It's one of the better sequels out there. Now let's jump all the way to, I guess, modern times and cat people. That's right. We're ending this episode, this deep dive of Shapeshifters, with supposed, allegedly claimed firsthand encounters of American cryptids, cat people. Cat people in America, the earliest I could find, 1964, all collected by the Paranormal 411.blogspot.com. Check them out. They're doing God's work last year. And also for this,
they're not getting out as much.
For this posting, they have a copy of R.L. Stine's Ghost of Fear Street, Night of the Werecat.
You didn't want to use the cover of the Natasha Kinski Cat People movie?
No, R.L. Stine. It's from my childhood. Right. So let's start this firsthand account of Werecats with the case of the Mount Tamalpais Catman of 1964. In 1964, two campers in Mount Tamalpais in Marin County, California, claimed to have been harassed by at least two cat-like entities during the night somewhere just outside their camp. Heading in the darkness, they could hear those creatures making strange, chattering sounds as seemingly communicating with each other.
There's just like two greasers that happen to be up on the mountain smoking cigs, flicking them at the tent.
Yep. I mean, no. That's great, though. That's great. One of the creatures remanded in the darkness.
Doing that stray cat strut.
One of the creatures remanded in the darkness while the other ventured closer to the campsite. One witness description stated its head was close to its body, and below the shoulders it was very muscular. No ears could be seen. The witness did not see a tail and guessed the weight of the creature around 200 pounds and was bipedal.
That's a heavy cat.
That's a heavy cat. 1968 tiger creature. In 1968, Connecticut bus driver traveling down Valley Street in New Haven claimed to see what he described as a tiger walking on two legs crossing the street. Police were unable to locate the creature.
I can just imagine driving around, just this tiger strolling casually across the street.
Just like
slaps the front of the
strutting.
bus. I'm walking here.
Can't you see I'm walking? I'm a Boston Catman in New Haven. I don't know what Boston people sound like. What do East Coast people sound like? Tell us in the comments.
Well, New Haven's in Connecticut, so
I don't know.
It's more of a mid-Atlantic.
Disgusting. If you're listening from the mid-Atlantic, I'm not saying the way you talk is disgusting. I'm saying the place you live is not pleasant. You
sound is disgusting.
So now let's go to Chicago and see the Chicago Catman playing in theaters. One night in 1969, a Chicago man driving down a dark road in Niles, Michigan, claimed to have seen a strange cat-like creature standing on 2 feet on the side of the road. He slowed down to get a better look, then suddenly the creature rushed his car and began attacking it, punching his windshield with its large clawed fists, breaking the glass in at least 4 places as he quickly drove away.
Well, what he's not saying is that when he slowed down next to it, he was like, "Hey, you looking for some work, baby?"
The witness claimed the cat-like creature made a strange squeal sound that he found very disturbing.
Meow.
My best guess, it was attacking your car. You drove away quick. You probably ran over its foot. I would make a very strange, disturbing sound if you ran over my foot. That's all I'm saying. That this Catman sound is very understandable. Now let's go to the Mike Busby encounter. On Friday, April 10th, 1970, Mike Busby was on his way to Olive Branch, Illinois, heading down Route 3, but at about a mile outside of Olive Branch, near a dark road by the Shawnee National Forest, his car stalled. Busby pulled over.
Coasted.
Coasted, I guess, truly. Coasted over to get out to see what was wrong. Suddenly, he heard movement on his left side. Turning to the direction, he was startled to find 2 large greenish eyes looking back at him. He was suddenly charged by what he described as a 6-foot-tall jet black panther on 2 legs. The creature struck him in the face with its massive paws, knocking him to the ground, at which point it climbed onto his chest and continued beating him.
Jesus.
Suddenly, Busby sustained injuries to his chest, abdomen, and upper arm. He managed to grab the top and bottom of its jaw, preventing it from going for its throat. It had yellow fangs, and its hair was short and wiry, like steel wool, he said.
That's crazy. So
it's not over.
He's being seriously injured.
Injured. Okay. He's being attacked by this werecat. This is something that I did not know anything about. Like, I was Googling some werecat stuff, and I saw some first-hand encounters, and then I found some of these, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what is going on in this nation? There is a werecat emergency. Suddenly, after being beat up for a few minutes and preventing the creature from going for his jugular with those yellow fangs, The headlight of an oncoming diesel truck lit up the creature, and he could see it had black fur and a long tail. Once the light, this is written like someone in the
Poorly.
heat of passion. The light hit the strange cat. The way the light hit the strange cat, or the light hit the strange cat, and it was seemingly frightened away. Busby said, and was quoted, with heavy footfalls, it lopped off into the highway, running on two legs. Or it lopped off the highway, running on two legs. This was corroborated as best we could do it through the show the TV show Monsters and Mysteries in America, who interviewed people and did a reenactment. It aired March 25th, 2015. The episode is called Demon Panthers.
Oh, and I bet that reenactment is nice.
You know it is. In 1980, there was a Canadian Catman.
That just sounds like a name we'd give to, the heir to Neil Young or something. It's a folk singer that wears whiskers.
An eyewitness near Toronto, Ontario, claimed to see a bipedal cat creature. Pete, there were 3 of us on night shift on a gold rush in a pilot plant, Ontario Research Foundation, just west of Toronto. We were coming in at midnight and up the industrial door. The little peak window you have at eye level was this 6-footish all black creature with its face right up against the window. Okay, so right outside this window that was eye level, that out where they left or where they enter, there was just a black creature staring at them. It didn't see us approaching, and guess it heard the car, or maybe the light. Okay, so they were driving up to the window, and a creature was looking into and the creature was looking into the window as they were driving up to the door.
Yeah.
There we go. The creature didn't see us approaching, and I guess it heard the car, or maybe the lights, because it's saw the light in its peripheral vision, and it turned and looked at us, and the eyes were goldish, similar to the previous account of that cat beating up the person.
Yeah, I mean,
Mike
I think that's one of the
Busby.
big things about the cat people is that they never have red eyes or like glowing eye. It's all they're actual cat colors.
Mm-hmm. In dark conditions, cat colors and dark conditions. The reflective. There was something about its face that was kind of cat-like, and we were startled. And we startled it. And we're looking at each other, approaching in the car for a couple seconds, and it just turned and bolted in the woods. So just it's turned, everyone stared at each other and went, "Oh shit." And then the cat fled. Here we go. Filmmaker D. Macaulay mentions another cat-like creature being spotted near Black Sturgeon Lake by Ontario, Canada. So this is another Canadian one in the same region. In his 2018 film, Northern Lights, a UFO documentary. I have actually seen this documentary. I need to watch it again. He says off Highway 1117, I don't know how you would say that up there, 1117,
1117 probably. Like you say, 1117, eh?
On Herkin, Ontario, there is a road leading to the Black Sturgeon Lake. An 80-kilometer ride. 2 men were hired by the forester sector to build a dock on the lake shore. They had worked all week and were almost finished. They had returned Monday. Instead, they worked until evening and had decided to finish Saturday morning rather than take the long trip back up after the weekend. So they just decided to rush everything, which makes sense, just get it done. That way you can enjoy your life.
Yeah.
It was a good idea. And they made camp then about 2 a.m. The two men awoke, and without a word being uttered, they began to break down the camp, loading the truck in a more hurried pace. It was then that they saw something shown in the flashlight's light. There in the tall jack pine was a tall creature staring down at them. Described as having both features of a cat and human, they leapt in the truck and floored it all the way back on the highway, startled in silence. So they felt something at 2 a.m., started breaking stuff down and felt so bad. Looking around, doing so with their flashlights, saw a cat-like creature, just left, didn't speak about it again. Well, I mean, they did. That's how we know about it.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty crazy. They just felt this dread, I guess, that awoke them both, and
heavy presence.
Just started breaking camp.
Heavy presence. Two more. Actually, is this one more? We got the finale. We're at the tale of Ray Jones and his cat friend. So in 1994, a recent retired Kansas man named Ray Jones moved into a new home in the county, several acres, or in the country. I don't know what he means there. Anyway, he moved to Kansas.
Sure. Yeah.
To several acres, garden, a few animals, beautiful retirement land, it sounds like. Mr. Jones was looking forward to his quiet new lifestyle and working on his award-winning wood carvings.
Okay.
Nice flavor of this story. Though only 4 years into his retirement, Jones had a very strange and frightening encounter one night in June of 1988. Well, while working late into the night on one of his carvings.
So why does it say though only 4 years into his retirement? Like, are you supposed to get increasingly horrific encounters?
Listen, the person who wrote this doesn't have a strong understanding of the English language, and it's fine. But that is a funny way of thinking about it.
Yeah, like the longer I'm retired, the more times I've seen death staring through the window.
Which is a true thing, I bet. So Jones, while working on his coveted carving studio in the outbuilding, Jones was suddenly disturbed when he heard his pet cow making a fuss, soon followed by the geeses and other animals. Geeses in particular are very territorial. I've tried to take close photos of them and had to fight a goose.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I lost, but I survived.
Look, so nobody wins in a goose fight.
No, just the goose. The goose takes everything from you. Jones, assuming that a stray dog or fox was heading toward his hen house, put down his tools, and grabbed a stick to chase away the pest, and made his way outside with his old dog Buster. The night was relatively bright, with a full moon hanging overhead. He could hear the chickens going crazy, and headed over there confidently with that stick he was carrying, thinking that stick he was carrying would be enough to scare the creature away. In Jones's own words, although it was almost completely dark in the hen house, I felt the hair stand up on the back of my neck when I saw something dark stand up and growl at me. I'm 5'11", and it was as tall as I am. It then charged at me, knocking me flat, placing its paws on my chest and looking down at me. I nearly had a heart attack when I found myself staring into its open jaws and the pointed fangs of a black panther. At this point, Buster came in barking and nipping at the creature. Jones feared for Buster's safety, saying one of its claws could slice the dog into a hamburger.
You know what's
Suddenly,
interesting? They seem to have claws instead of hands.
yeah,
like cat paw claws. Like you would
yes.
think that the cat people would have hands.
No, they go
With
more,
like,
I mean, a werewolf, does a werewolf have more claw or hand?
yeah, they got human hands with big ass claws.
I think, oh yeah, but this is being described as paws. That's an interesting take. Good point out. Good point out. Now, suddenly, something seemed to startle the cat, or just decided Mr. Jones wasn't worth the effort anymore and climbed off of him. Now,
It's just playing.
to Jones' amazement, the panther stood up on its hind legs and walked off. Jones said, "It rolled off me, and I swear it stood upright on its hind legs." The panther
Yeah.
creature, go on.
Oh no, it's very weird.
It
This is
is.
also the first one that is mentioned that there was a full moon, which I don't think I've ever seen a cat story or a Catman story that involved a lunar phase.
This one does. At least someone noticed the moon cycle for the data books. Put it in your werewolf in your Pingo journals, everyone. Werecats full moons. Connection?
Question mark.
The panther creature took a long look around the area for a moment, then dropped down to all fours and bolted into the field and eventually out of sight. Mr. Jones was terrified, but was at least unharmed. He and his animals made it through this ordeal without injury. Now, Mr. Jones was still frightened and decided he needed to call the police and warn others in the community that a large cat was in the area. Now, of course, the police were of no help. According to Jones, at first they thought I had been drinking. Then they told me what I already knew. There were no Black Panthers in Kansas, and that there hadn't been, and cougars reported in the state for decades. A deputy finally did drive out to investigate the scene, but he just chuckled and said that something in the dark, a big old tomcat, could seem mighty big and vicious and startle a fella half to death. I like that idea, to where just a big old tomcat jumped on him and he was all like,
Right.
"Oh no."
Oh no.
But like that doesn't explain, like, the creature stood up. Like, I know, heat of the
Yeah.
moment, like you're seeing all sorts of stuff. I've been in fights that I've been knocked down and I could still describe what the person was doing. It unfortunately was climbing on top of me and hitting my face, but still I knew how many legs they had and stuff, like I didn't see this cat creature with paws
Right.
described, then climb up and go like, nope, and then go on all fours and just go.
What also scared the shit out of cows and geese and a bunch of other animals. Like, if it was just a big cat, like a large domesticated cat, like, I don't know that it would do that.
So many things. So many things about that case. I don't know what to make out of it. In terms of paranormal preparedness, avoid the dark roads. Don't drive by them. Don't drive on them. Don't build your house in your retirement on them. That's the best paranormal preparedness we can give you this episode. And I think that concludes
Well,
our
in the
special. Go on.
I was gonna say there's also a possible connection to the alien big cat theory.
Oh, damn it. There
Like,
was.
because especially since they're almost always appearing as panthers, at least in North America, which almost all of the big cats that might be alien shapeshifters seem to appear as large black panthers.
Oh, God. You're right. Alien cat theory. Mark that down in your notebook too. By the way, we should probably get like just a notepad or a notebook for the Pingos. Start sending that out. It's gonna be hand crinkled paper. that you can put into your own notebook or something. Anyway, that concludes, I think, our shape-shifting episode with a special focus on Werecats. How was this deep dive for you, Nate?
I think it was pretty good. I think we could do more of these probably.
I think we do them at the end of every month.
I like the sound of that.
Excellent. Prepare everyone for special deep dives at the end of every month. Werewolf Radar is getting back into it. Just one subject for us to really sink our paranormal teeth into. And now let's just wrap up this whole thing all together. Once again, Pingo Nation, if you are at this point in the episode still listening, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. It really helps us out. It helps us grow, allows new Pingos to listen to us. Also, interact with us on Instagram. It's really where we are most active, but we're also active on Instagram. And if you really enjoy what
Twitter,
we do,
I think you mean.
What did I say? Twitch?
You said Instagram twice.
Oh, well, hit us up on Instagram twice. Hit us up on Twitter. Also, hit us up on Twitch. Follow our channel there. We're playing game throughs every weekend, Weekend Radar, and then D&D every Monday with Native Daughters drummer Colin Madden as the DM and author, stand-up comedian, and centrist Sam Talent. We'll figure out what his stance is on the Irish Revolution soon. And what else is there? Oh, our Patreon, patreon.com/werewolf radar. We have new merch available. It helps. Check it out. Subscribe. Make a pledge. It helps us produce our 3 episodes every week, plus some extra stuff. We want to start doing paranormal interviews with paranormal experts and people in the field or around the field. That'd be pretty cool. And now let's just end this. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. The energies have been drained. Running the radar has drained me of my blood.
It always does.
It does. It does. Okay, everyone. On the count of 3, Jordan, we hope your transformation's doing okay too, by the way. We didn't mention it up front, I think, but keep congealing, buddy, into whatever you want.
Become the star you want to be.
Become the star you want to be in your LA bunker. Oh shit, did I say too much?
No. La bunker.
La bunker. That's how it's pronounced. All right. Now, on the count of 3, our sign-off line for the Pingo Nation. 1, 2, 3. Punch the sky, Spaceman Joe.